as Ridgeway School has learnt to its cost. To the dismay of all local heads, Ridgeway is now unsure of its future. Just 3 years ago, it was so popular that it found itself turning pupils away. Today, its intake is down by half, so its budget has fallen and its staff has been cut. Frankly, it's hard to see why. It successfully piloted a new maths project. It offers engineering and home economics to both boys and girls. The local education officer reckons the teachers' strike hit harder here than elsewhere. But often an active staff means a lively school.
When we went to the various schools, some had no children in at all on the open evenings. 1 or 2 had senior children in. Ridgeway had everybody in, all the pupils, purely voluntary, came back, all the staff, and the whole place just bubbled. And the enthusiasm of the staff and the children was enormous.
The council admits that Ridgeway's future is being weighed in the balance. The school has borne the brunt of falling school rolls. All agree that open enrolment has made matters more difficult for this school in particular, and for a local authority trying to make long-term decisions about all local schools.
When it comes to a school that could be under threat, we do need to look very carefully at the provision in the area as a whole to see whether it would be sensible to close, to amalgamate, to find some consortium arrangement or way in which schools can be brought together. Some of their buildings perhaps taken out of use or used for other purposes.
To maintain a broad curriculum, staff must be allocated and resources fixed well in advance of when parents make their choice. Some flexibility is built in, but with admissions rising and falling now with alarming speed, it's become increasingly hard to forecast which resources will be needed where.
If a school finds itself with 30 or 40 fewer pupils, and we've staffed it for more than that, and a school down the road correspondingly has that number more, it is very difficult to move teachers in just that simple way. So that's the primary implication there.
It isn't as easy to plan, shall we say, but we are in the business of assisting the consumer, and the consumer is the parent. We have to run an education service which is good for the children and acceptable to the parents. Not easy, but we can do it.
Despite open enrolment, Kent is insistent that it will not rob Peter to pay Paul. Rather, it'll encourage and exhort less popular schools to fight back. Ridgeway is doing just that, with voluntary lunchtime art classes, a revival of the defunct parents' organisation, a new-style open day. All the local heads are affected by the new competitive climate, but it does seem to come easier to some than to others. Do you think aggressive marketing is something the education system should be doing?
It goes against the grain. It's something clearly that we have to do, and children have to grow up in a competitive world, and we know that this is so. But I think it becomes a bit undignified, I think, if schools have to really become cutthroat in trying to keep their classrooms filled at the expense of neighbouring schools with whom they've always cooperated and want to go on cooperating.
Back at Hillview, school and council agreed last week to plan to limit admissions next year. But if more parents were to choose Hillview again, then there would just be room.
Not coming indoors, no.